Hello guys, welcome back to Anime Moments. Today is explanation of upcoming episode of Against the Gods based on novel. So let's start explanation. Illusory Demon Realm. Illusory Demon Realm. Yunche's mind burst into disorder. It had already been 3 days since he arrived at this world, and in this time, he didn't intentionally ask around for the name of this world. After all, this was a completely unfamiliar strange world, and the name of this world was basically unimportant to him. Furthermore, asking other people for the name of this world held the risk of him being seen as a crazy idiot. The name of this world was unexpectedly Illusory Demon Realm. Impossible. It definitely couldn't be the Illusory Demon Realm he knew of, it must only be a lucky coincidence the names were the same. The primordial profound arc had gone through 18 months of space travel. It was space travel, not simple flight. And even if it was the most basic of flight, in an entire span of 18 months, it was enough for Yunche to travel across who knows how many continents with his speed. So, with 18 months of space travel, who knew which corner of the boundless universe he would arrive at? The distance across the profound sky continent must be an incomparably frightening astronomical distance. And the illusory demon realm he knew of was actually on the same star as the profound sky continent and azure cloud continent. 18 months of shuttling through space, how could he still be on Blue Pole Star? Furthermore, enmity between the illusory demon realm and profound sky continent had always existed. The people from the illusory demon realm even had some means to reach profound sky continent, and perhaps people from profound sky continent had also once entered the illusory demon realm. Between the two, some news must be known about each side. If the primordial profound arc also appeared in the illusory demon realm every 300 years, over the millenniums, and possibly even tens of millenniums of history, it was extremely likely that the profound sky continent knew something. However, when he was at the Divine Phoenix sect, he hadn't heard the least bit of news regarding this. That's not right, it must only be a coincidence. Yunche thought long and hard about this, but at the same time, other than the name, the illusory demon realm was a world where man and demon coexisted, and this place was the same. The ruler of the illusory demon realm was known as the Demon Emperor, and the main city in front of him was known as the Demon Imperial City. Is it truly a coincidence, or is it? Brother Yun, are you alright? Seeing Yunche's sudden daze and rapidly fluctuating expression, Number 1 under heaven questioned. Yunche slowly raised his head, his expression appearing imposing and misty. Brother under heaven, Yun Xiao, seventh sister, have you all heard of a place known as Profound Sky Continent? Having said the 3 words, Profound Sky Continent, a slight trill appeared in Yunche's voice. This was because that place which he had left for 2 years was land that was truly a part of him, and contained many people he cared for with all his heart. If this place was truly the illusory demon realm he knew about, returning to Profound Sky Continent wouldn't be that unattainable. And he clearly noticed, when he brought up the words, Profound Sky Continent, the expressions on Number 1 under heaven and the others were not of confusion, but of a slight change. Not only have I heard of it, it is as clear as lightning penetrating one's ear. Number 1 under heaven replied without hesitation, Brother Yun possesses such strength at such a young age, it looks like you truly submerged yourself in cultivation, and paid very little attention to happenings in the outside world. 100 years ago, the name Profound Sky Continent was indeed very strange in my illusory demon realm, and only a select few knew of it. However, in these 100 years, in the entire illusory demon realm, there are few people that do not know of the name Profound Sky Continent. This is because our illusory demon realm's Demon Emperor and Little Demon Emperor died under the hands of those contemptible vile people from Profound Sky Continent in these last 100 years. Even Lord Demon King, Number 1 under heaven's gaze swept Yun Xiao intentionally, has landed in the hands of those contemptible Profound Sky villains, and it is unclear whether he is alive or dead. The name Profound Sky Continent, to our 12 guardian families, not only have we heard of it, it is a name we must engrave into our hearts until death. Brother Yun says he is from a remote place, and it looks like it is your first time traveling to obtain experience. It's understandable that you don't know about this. Yun Xiao hurriedly explained to Yunche. Yunche stood blankly there, and didn't speak for a long time. Profound Sky Continent. Demon Emperor. Little Demon Emperor. Demon King, 100 years ago, resentment. 12 guardian families. The name, illusory demon realm, could be a coincidence, but all this, could they all be coincidences too? Yet how could they all be coincidences? The world he currently resided in, this continent known as the illusory demon realm, was actually the illusory demon realm he knew of. The world located on the same star as profound sky continent, which possessed tremendous hate and intersection. Jasmine, what's going on? Yunche shook his head, then asked Jasmine, the primordial profound arc traveled for such a long time, how could it have stopped at the illusory demon realm, which is located in the same world as profound sky continent? Profound sky continent has also never had any information about the primordial profound arc appearing in the illusory demon realm. How would I know? Jasmine replied lightly, but in her heart, she felt some unease. 2 years ago, in order to intensify the spatial storm and allow Yunche to go through more difficult experiences, she had forcefully pushed the speed in which the primordial profound arc traveled, which certainly affected the trajectory of its travel to some extent. Only, even she completely didn't think that her own interference actually caused the primordial profound arc, in its 18 months of travel, to return to the blue pole star once again, and stop above the illusory demon realm. This was also the only explanation. However, she was naturally incapable of informing Yunche about this reason. At this time, Yunche suddenly turned his head, and stared fixedly at Yun Xiao. 12 guardian families. Yun families. Young master, a bastard child that had been picked up, and the name, Yun Xiao. One after another, words that he had only heard casually and hadn't paid the least bit of attention to began to weave incomparably violently within his mind, forming a possibility he was unable to be calm about. Under the piercing gaze of his eyes, Yun Xiao suddenly felt his entire body shudder. He forcefully gulped a mouthful of saliva, and said with some apprehension, "Brother. Yun, why are you looking at me like this?" Yunche took a step forward, grabbed Yun Xiao's shoulder, and asked with an incomparably imposing tone, "Yun Xiao, tell me, your family, is it the Yun family from the 12 guardian families?" Yunche's sudden violent reaction caused Yun Xiao to be bewildered for a moment. He used a pleading gaze to look at number 1 under heaven, and said very cautiously, "Brother Yun, could it be your family or school has some grudge with the Yun family? Why you, please calm down for a moment, no matter what misunderstanding there is, it can be resolved." Yunche's abnormal reaction also caused number 1 under heaven and number 7 under heaven to reveal gazes of astonishment, but the life experiences of number 1 under heaven far surpassed that of Yun Xiao. Although Yunche's mood seemed a bit unusual, he didn't actually display any hostility when facing Yun Xiao. After a short pause, he said, "I guess I'll respond for this brat. He is indeed someone from the Yun family of the 12 guardian families, moreover, he is the family head's sole son. Only, HMPH, they have long been unworthy of the name 12 guardian families." After the unknown living state of the Demon King 100 years ago, the Yun family has been filled with turmoil and unrest for a long while. 25 years ago, Patriarch Yun charged into the profound sky continent. Although he made it back alive 3 years later, both him and his wife sustained extremely heavy injuries, becoming nearly handicapped, and also lost the most important treasure of the demon royal families. This caused the entire Yun family to bear great sin. In these short 100 years, the core characters in the Yun family have fallen in succession. In addition to the family's internal unrest, the Yun family's strength has plummeted. The Yun family was indeed the head of the 12 guardian families once, but as of now, the Yun family's strength is without a doubt in its last moments. It has even gradually lost the qualifications to stand shoulder to shoulder with the other 11 guardian families, and with the addition of the crime of losing countless valuable treasures. Perhaps in a few years, the 12 guardian families will become the 11 guardian families. Number 1 under heaven glanced at Yun Xiao indifferently for a moment. With the current situation this son of the Yun family was in, every word he spoke didn't save him the least bit of face, and also portrayed the Yun family's current steep decline. Furthermore, what he said really wasn't a secret between the 12 families. Basically everyone in the illusory demon realm knew of this, so he said all of this without much apprehension. Yun Xiao bit his lips. His face revealed slight unwillingness, yet didn't say anything. Yun Che's chest heaved violently for a moment, because number one under heaven's words provided even more evidence that this illusory demon realm was the one that he knew of. The current patriarch of Yun family, crippled 22 years ago. This time period made it unable for him to think of another explanation. The word, crippled, further caused his heart to twitch for a moment. What is the name of the current Yun family's patriarch? Yun Che maintained his calm with great effort. Is he your father? Your father and mother, what are their names? Are they Yun Ching Hong and Mu Yuro? Yun Xiao opened his eyes wide and nodded somewhat callously. They are indeed my parents. Could it be that my parents have had some interaction with your sect? Yun Che's expression froze. Then, his two hands grasping Yun Xiao's shoulder slowly loosened. He stood there, unable to speak for a long time. Your father is named Yun Ching Hong. Even though I am already a few hundred years old, I only have one son, which is your father. His talents are not too bad, and he had awakened the same cyan profound handle I have. Your mother is named Mu Yuro and is also from a guardian family of the Demon Emperor, and is the daughter of Mu family's patriarch. The 12 guardian families exist to protect the Demon Emperor, and there are no estrangements between them. The relationship between our Yun family and Mu family have always been the best, and your father and mother were childhood friends who grew up together. 100 years ago, when I left the illusory demon realm alone, they had just gotten married. Yun Sunghai's words sounded within his mind, each word striking like the evening drum and the morning bell. At that time, each time grandfather Yun Sunghai spoke about the Yun family, his face would fill with pride, speaking the words, head of the 12 guardian families, loftily. Yet, from the information he had just heard from number one under heaven, the Yun family had actually been on rapid decline over these 100 years. Yun Sunghai had been locked up for 100 years, and was completely unaware the position of the Yun family had dropped 1,000 miles in one fall. If he had known of this, he would definitely be turning in his grave right now. Yun Ching Hong. That the name of his biological father his grandfather had mentioned. Mu Yuro. That was his biological mother's name. And the Yun Xiao in front of him, could it be, he was Jasmine. Number one under heaven furrowed his brow. Could it be you've really had some interaction with the Yun family before? After a long period of silence, Yun Che regained his calm. He nodded slowly, and smiled lightly. Of course I don't. Only, as my surname is also Yun, I have always possessed a deep reverence towards Demon King Yun Sunghai from back then, and the current head of the Yun family, Yun Ching Hong. So, because I suddenly discovered Yun Xiao was actually the son of the head of Yun family's patriarch, I was a little stirred up. You all have seen me embarrass myself. Ah? So it's like this? Yun Xiao's expression relaxed. He patted his chest, and let out a long breath of air. You scared me to death. I really believed my savior had some trouble with my family, he. Sure enough, I was overthinking. That's true too, my parents are such gentle people, how could they have any animosity with others? So that's how it is. Number one under heaven naturally wasn't as innocent as Yun Xiao. He felt that Yun Che was speaking with tongue in cheek, yet didn't question or pursue the matter, he only nodded slowly. If that's the case, then you two really must have been brought together by destiny. Number 7 under heaven clearly became a lot happier. Brother Yun can bring Big Brother Yun to meet Uncle. Not only is Big Brother Yun powerful, he also saved Brother Yun, and also has the surname Yun. Uncle Yun will definitely be very grateful and fond of Big Brother Yun. He. Number 7 under heaven laughed happily. Even the 12 guardian families didn't have many that received the approval of her big brother number 1 under heaven. If Yun Xiao could become good friends with this kind of person, she was certainly extremely willing to see it happen. Right. Yun Xiao hurriedly followed suit and nodded. My father is a very gentle person, he will definitely be fond of Brother Yun. Yun Che glanced at Yun Xiao deeply, sighing to himself in his heart. No matter how much the Yun family declined, it was still part of the 12 guardian families, and possessed the highest level of family strength in the illusory demon realm. Yun Xiao was the Yun family head's only son, and his status was nothing less than respectable. However, Yun Xiao didn't possess the least bit of arrogance or willfulness, and when he was doing something or speaking, he was especially gentle and humble, perhaps even cautious and forbearing. As for number one under heaven's all kinds of savage words, he didn't flare up or rebut in any way since the very start. In regards to Yunche agreeing to visiting his house, he showed not only cordiality, but happiness as well. This told Yunche that this Yun Xiao, who had a highly respectable status and extremely good temperament and cultivation, seemed to not have many friends. It seemed like a completely isolated feeling. I also really want to meet the senior Yun I have revered for a long time. Since this is so, we should travel to Demon Imperial City. This is my first time visiting Demon Imperial City. Moreover, I might stay for a relatively long time, so I'll have to trouble everyone to take care of me. Yunche said as he nodded. Ha ha, don't be polite, you saved my little sister's life. Our elven race always repays favors. If you need us for anything, just speak up about it. I, number one under heaven, will definitely not wrinkle my brow at all. Number one under heaven said candidly. After speaking, he probed number 7 under heaven's wounds once again. Old 7, can you fly back by yourself? You're wounded, so you must not push yourself. I've said before, I only suffered a few light injuries. Flying a few dozen rounds isn't a problem. Number 7 under heaven looked at Yun Xiao with concern, and supported his arm. Brother Yun's wounds are actually heavy. HMPH. This brat invited trouble upon himself, serves him right if he dies. He's lucky he didn't implicate you, otherwise I would strike him to death with one palm. Number 1 under heaven glared at Yun Xiao for a moment as he spoke with a seemingly dull mood. It wasn't because his anger hadn't disappeared, but because it had gathered over time. In regards to number 7 under heaven and Yun Xiao's matter, there was nearly no one that didn't disapprove. Number 7 under heaven's willowy brow straightened, but just as she was about to flip out on number 1 under heaven, she was held back by Yun Xiao. Yun Xiao was long accustomed to number 1 under heaven's mockery and ridicule. He shook his head at number 7 under heaven, and said, 7th sis, don't be angry at your brother. This time, it was indeed my fault. If I hadn't secretly asked you out, today's affair wouldn't have happened. If we hadn't run into Brother Yun, I simply cannot bear to think of the consequences. Just let Big Brother scold me this way, my heart will feel a little better. Number 7 under heaven looked at him painfully, then turned around and glared at number 1 under heaven fiercely for a moment. Afterwards, she didn't look at him anymore, and held Yun Xiao's hand. HMPH, ignore him. Brother Yun, let's go. You're not allowed to carry him, let him fly by himself. Number 1 under heaven smiled coldly, and said ruthlessly. Big Brother, you're being too excessive. Number 7 under heaven's eyes burned with rage. Brother Yun suffered such serious injuries in order to protect me. His injuries just stabilized, and activating his profound energy recklessly is very dangerous. How can you be this excessive? HMPH. Even he admitted that it was his own fault. Number 1 under heaven looked away. He suffered a few light injuries, and he needs the support of a woman. What kind of man is that? If he's a man, even if he can't fly, he should crawl if he had to. Allow me. Seeing that the situation had become tense, Yunche couldn't stay silent. He walked up to support Yun Xiao, and said, Brother under heaven, Yun Xiao has indeed suffered heavy injuries, and isn't fit to activate his profound energy recklessly. If he walked back, it would be a waste of time. Since I want to follow him to pay my respects to Senior Yun, I'll just bring him along as well. Facing Yunche, number 1 under heaven naturally didn't have anything to say, and nodded. I naturally have no objections to Brother Yun's words. Old 7, let's go. The 4 people soared high into the air. With their strength, they would be able to traverse the 300-meter distance very quickly. Seeing the rapidly nearing Demon Imperial City in his line of sight, Yunche's heart began to throb unceasingly. He had arrived in this world without any preparation, and also met these people without any preparation. Before this time, the primordial profound ark's travel was undoubtedly a great calamity, and it was a miracle that he had survived. But now, he wasn't sure whether he was supposed to rejoice. Because if the primordial profound arc disaster hadn't occurred, he wasn't sure in what year or what month he would have been able to arrive at this place. Demon Imperial City grew closer and closer. When they were still several meters away from the city gates, three people flew over from in front of them with speed as quick as lightning. Seeing people approach from the front, number 1 under heaven and number 7 under heaven stopped, and number 7 under heaven called out happily, "Third brother. Sixth brother. And, Dad." The three people that were approaching also stopped. They were three male elves. The stature and age of the two elves on the side were similar to that of number 1 under heaven, and although their profound energy auras weren't as great as number 1 under heaven's, they were still astonishingly rich. What caused Yunche to stare fixedly was the elf in the middle. He looked as if he was 30 years old, but an unfathomable precipitate of age condensed between his brow. Furthermore, the aura on his body was as vast as the universe, causing Yunche to be unable to probe it in any way. He was even unable to make sense of its very limits, and even the existence of a profound energy aura was barely discernible. Yunche had only felt this kind of feeling from Ji Yu Kang's body before. But at that time, his profound strength was only at the earth-profound realm, and his current state was completely incomparable to that of the past, which also signified that the strength of the middle-aged elf in front of him far surpassed that of Ji Yu Kang. Ji Yu Kang was a genuine monarch powerhouse, the highest level existence in profound sky continent. And this person in front of him was undoubtedly the peak of the peak, a genuine absolute peak existence that could disdain anything. It's unexpected to have actually met a monarch so quickly. The sound of Jasmine muttering came from within Yunche's mind. The three people saw that number 7 under heaven was safe and sound, and the grim expressions on their faces relaxed. The elf on the right said, "Old 7, you all right?" Your third brother, was so scared my heart almost stopped." "Of course I'm all right. Big brother already came, why did you guys?" "Dad, why did you personally come?" Number 7 under heaven glanced at Yun Xiao stealthily, and her heart filled with unease. Yun Xiao faced forward and anxiously said, "Junior Yun Xiao pays respect to Uncle under heaven." HMPH. Facing Yun Xiao's junior etiquette greeting, the elven male only snorted indifferently, then didn't pay him another glance. He directly walked in front of number 7 under heaven, and quickly inspected her aura and injuries, then finally relaxed. "I heard from your big brother that you encountered a secret attack from 3 overlords. How could I sit still? Dad only has one daughter. If you really met some kind of unexpected accident." Having spoken to this point, his anger suddenly rose to the air, and he turned around abruptly to look at Yun Xiao. How could the pressure from an angry monarch be insignificant? It caused the originally heavily injured Yun Xiao's face to pale. If Yun Che hadn't swiftly used his profound energy to stabilize his injuries, he would have spat out a mouthful of blood on the spot. "You little bastard from Yun family. If something really bad really happened to our 7th treasure this time, greatest ambition under heaven, would tear down your Yun family no matter what." "Uncle under heaven," Yun Xiao timidly opened his mouth. "Shut up." Greatest ambition under heaven reprimanded him with glaring eyes. "I don't want to hear even half a word from you anymore. If it wasn't for the Demon King and your father's face, I would have definitely crippled you today. Get out of my sight right now. If you try to get near my daughter in the future, I'll snap your legs in two." Yun Che's ears buzzed from greatest ambition under heaven's booming voice. Previously, he had thought number 1 under heaven's attitude towards Yun Xiao was too vile, but after seeing greatest ambition under heaven's attitude, he began to feel number 1 under heaven was simply too kind and gentle. "Dad." Number 7 under heaven hurriedly stood in front of greatest ambition under heaven. "Why are you so mean to brother Yun? This issue didn't even involve him. It was I who wanted to leave. Furthermore, those 3 black-clothed men only wanted to kill me. They didn't plan on attacking brother Yun at all. If brother Yun didn't stake his life to protect me, I wouldn't have been able to see Dad ever again." HMPH. "You don't have to speak for him." Greatest ambition under heaven waved his hand. "Your 6th brother already confessed. He personally heard that it was this bastard who sent you the sound transmission, inviting you to meet 200 meters outside of the city. This is truly preposterous." Number 7 was at a loss for words. After, she looked at the young elven male to the left, which was her 6th brother. Number 6 under heaven turned his head, and his face was filled with an innocent expression. "In short, this doesn't have to do with brother Yun," Number 7 under heaven said annoyedly. You also shut up. Greatest ambition under heaven bellowed. He had 6 sons, yet only had 1 daughter. Because he usually treasured her dearly, he was never willing to scold her, so him yelling this time scared all 4 brothers and sister present. Evidently, greatest ambition under heaven was truly angry. After all, this was a major event that had almost cost number 7 under heaven her life. How could he remain undisturbed? He looked straight at Yun Xiao, who was already too afraid to speak, and said with a grim voice, "I'll say it one more time. Get the fuck out of my sight. Tomorrow, I'll go find Yun Qinghong. His son almost caused my daughter to lose her life. I want to see what kind of explanation he'll give me." Dad? Number 7 under heaven tugged greatest ambition under heaven's hand tightly, extremely fearful that he would attack Yun Xiao. Facing the furious greatest ambition under heaven, she was also at her wit's end. Cough, cough. At this time, Yun Che, an outsider from head to tail, actually walked beside Yun Xiao, and said, "Senior under heaven, you're very protective of your daughter, and is angry because of that. This is only natural, and completely understandable. Only, would Senior under heaven please calm down for a moment, and hear out a few of this junior's words?" Greatest ambition under heaven cast a sidelong glance at him, and said lightly, "And who are you?" Number 1 under heaven said, "Father, this is brother Yun Che. He comes from the southern border, and this is his first time journeying for experience. The one who saved old 7 wasn't this son, but him. If it weren't for him, I'm afraid old 7 really would have." Oh. Once number 1 under heaven said this, the gazes of greatest ambition under heaven, number 3 under heaven, and number 6 under heaven held towards Yun Che naturally became entirely different, yet his profound energy aura actually caused the 3 to wrinkle their brows simultaneously. Number 1 under heaven knew what they were thinking, and said in a very low voice, "Father, old 3, old 6, you mustn't underestimate him. His aptitude is frighteningly good, although his profound strength is only at the sky profound realm. He can destroy a level 1 overlord in one strike. I also probed his strength previously. His strength can compare to a level 4 overlord. It may even be higher." What? Number 1 under heaven's words caused monarch realm greatest ambition under heaven to reveal an expression of alarm on his face. Peak of the sky profound, can beat a mid-stage overlord? If number 1 under heaven hadn't personally said this, with greatest ambition under heaven's extensive knowledge, he definitely wouldn't have believed it. It turns out brother Yun saved little sis. We were truly lacking in manners. This one is number 3 under heaven, and I thank brother Yun for your life-saving favor. Number 3 under heaven said while cupping his fist towards Yun Che. This one is number 6 under heaven. You saved little sister's life, which is equal to saving my life. This great favor must be repaid. Number 6 under heaven also said gratefully. Greatest ambition under heaven's complexion eased up. He nodded at Yun Che, and said with praise, "It turns out you were the one that saved my daughter's life. My elven race always repays favors, let alone this great favor. If you want to say something, do speak. If you have any request, do not hesitate to bring it up as well. I don't dare make any requests, Junior only has a few humble opinions." Yun Che gave a slight smile, then said slowly, "Before this Junior saved Yun Xiao and 7th sister, I heard the 3 black-clothed men personally yell that they only wanted 7th sister's life, and wouldn't kill Yun Xiao. Moreover, when one of the black-clothed men attacked Yun Xiao, he promptly restrained his strength, as if he was afraid of injuring him. Perhaps Senior and Under Heaven brothers could come up with a reason." Right, they really did say that. Number 7 under heaven immediately nodded and said, "From the very beginning, they only wanted my life, and let brother Yun leave immediately. But brother Yun didn't go, and even protected me with his life. They were afraid of mistakenly killing brother Yun, so their hands and legs were tied when they were fighting me." The 4 people all furrowed their brows. Number 3 under heaven said in a low voice, "Could it be, those 3 black-clothed men were Yun family's people? That's not right. They shouldn't have a reason to do such a thing. Of course this couldn't have been the Yun family." Yun Che said unhurriedly, "Although this is Junior's first time adventuring and is extremely unfamiliar about the 12 guardian families, if I didn't guess incorrectly, your elven race and the Yun family shouldn't have a hostile relationship, right? Perhaps you're even somewhat friendly with each other." this is indeed true. Number 1 under heaven nodded. My father owes a great favor to Senior Demon King Yun Sunghai, so my clan and the Yun family has always been friendly. 100 years ago, when the Demon King's life or death was unclear, Yun family went into disorder. Our relationship with the Yun family has cooled off year after year, but we've never been enemies before. Then, Yun Che's expression became more cautious. If this time, seventh sister truly suffered an evil scheme and Yun Xiao was safe and sound, how would your relationship with the Yun family change? Yun Che's statement was like a sudden burst of thunder sounding beside everyone's ears, causing them to sink into thought for a moment, and everyone's expressions changed completely. Yun Che nodded, and continued speaking. That's right. If seventh sister and Yun Xiao both suffered the evil scheme, then you all and the Yun family would unite against a common enemy, and search for the murderers together. However, if only seventh sister suffered the evil scheme and Yun Xiao was unharmed, in addition to the fact that Yun Xiao had invited seventh sister, then, before searching for the murderers, with the extent that Senior Under Heaven and the Under Heaven brothers love seventh sister, you all would definitely thoroughly take your anger out on the Yun family. Perhaps this would even create great enmity, which would lead to conflict, and conflict would only allow the enmity to spread. In the end, your two families might even end up in a feud that wouldn't end until everyone dies. If the goal of those three black-clothed men was only to take seventh sister's life, then not only would letting Yun Xiao keep his life not bring any good, it might actually allow him to discover tiny hints of evidence which could expose their identities later. However, they would rather risk their identities being discovered to only kill seventh sister, and leave Yun Xiao. Their true purpose goes without saying. Yun Che's gaze swept all of them for a moment. Seventh sister is safe and sound, yet Senior Under Heaven is already this angry. If something really happened, one can imagine what would happen. If Senior Under Heaven's anger still doesn't disappear, and personally visits Yun family tomorrow to find Senior Yun, once your feelings intensify, wouldn't that be precisely falling into the trap of the traitors behind the scenes? Of course, this is only Junior's humble opinion and conjecture. I believe Senior Under Heaven should have insights as well. Greatest Ambition Under Heaven naturally wasn't an idiot. His previous anger had peaked, and he hadn't taken too much into consideration. Yun Che's words were like a bucket of cold water, allowing him to become more clear-headed. His expression sank, and he nodded slowly. What you said is correct. But the danger my daughter encountered today, when you get down to the root of things, it is all because of this punk. Greatest Ambition Under Heaven might have restrained his anger, but his tone was still harsh. If anything had really happened to my daughter, even if I knew it was intentionally instigated by others, I would still cause a great commotion over at Yun clan. It's a good thing that nothing happened to my daughter, so I can still overlook this matter and not find trouble with Yun Qinghong, but… Yun brat, I won't take back what I said to you before. You're not allowed to meet my daughter anymore. If you do, I will personally break your legs. Now get out of here. Dad. Number 7 Under Heaven became irritated. You also know me and Brother Yun were plotted against. Why are you still scolding him? That's too excessive. If you keep on acting like this, then I'll really be angry. I'm going overboard? My seventh treasure, even if I disregard today's events, you are still a princess of our elf clan. There are so many young and handsome heroes in Demon Imperial City, and they are all for your choosing, so why do you still insist on liking this? Greatest Ambition Under Heaven pointed at Yun Xiao, but he paused for a moment. He did not voice out the remaining unkind words, but he slashed his hand instead. In the past, I could allow you to be willful, but now that this incident has happened, I will definitely not allow you and him to meet anymore. Yun brat, you better give up all hope. You are not worthy of my daughter. Number 1 Under Heaven, Number 3 Under Heaven, and Number 6 Under Heaven also bore deeply approving expressions on their faces as they heard their father's words. Dad. Number 7 Under Heaven shoved Greatest Ambition Under Heaven. After which she retreated a step, and said with a face red with anger, I'll say this one more time, in my lifetime I will only ever like Brother Yun. Besides Brother Yun, I won't marry anyone else. Moreover, this is my personal affair, I don't need the rest of you to butt in. Seventh sister, Yun Xiao looked at her and sighed out those words lightly. Both his hands were wound into tight fists, and his face was steadily becoming pale. Greatest ambition under heaven still refused to back down. My seventh treasure, normally whenever you are in want, I will do my best to satisfy your heart's desire. But I definitely will not relent in this case. Because, not only does this concern your personal feelings, it also concerns your future and your advancement. And to a certain extent, it also concerns our entire Under Heaven clan's reputation and future. Greatest ambition under heaven heavily sighed as he said this, and he adopted a gentler posture. My seventh treasure, you know how much I give in to you, can't you just give in to me this once? Number 7 under heaven bit her lips, and she looked at Yun Xiao, who also looked back at her, both of them looking at each other with gazes filled with tenderness. The distance between them was only the space of a few steps, yet at the same time, it seemed akin to the distance of an unsurpassable chasm. After a long while, this stubborn elf girl slowly and resolutely shook her head. Dad, big brother, third brother, sixth brother, I know that all of you look down on Brother Yun, and that all of you have always despised him, because of his background. But, can Brother Yun be blamed for his background? Background and status, are those things truly so important? I like Brother Yun, and this has absolutely nothing to do with his background. In my eyes, he is more than tens of thousands times better than those conceited and arrogant scions of the other families. All of you should know that because of the current set of circumstances, where we do not know whether the Demon King is dead or alive, where Yun family's patriarch has been crippled while also losing the Demon Emperor's seal and the Demon Emperor's treasure, not only has their reputation greatly declined, they are also seen as great criminals. Because of this, the amount of resources given to them every year has been lessened by several times, and they are not even allowed to enter the Golden Crow Lightning Flame Valley, a place which is regarded as the best place to train and have fortunate encounters. And their family has become rent by internal disorder, which has resulted in Yun family's strength falling far from where it was 100 years ago. But in this kind of environment, with the scarcest of resources, Brother Yun already a half-step overlord today, not losing to the direct scions of the other families by much. This barely passable grade that you have given him as the heir of a family, do you know how hard he had to work to achieve it? The amount of resources Brother Yun had to work with all these years was not even a tenth of what other heirs to the rest of the families received, and it was even less than what the other disciples within his own family received. But Brother Yun has never complained. Instead, he put in 10 times the effort that others did. Other disciples in the Yun clan have profound handles, but not Brother Yun. And he exerted several times the effort to bridge this gap. Having pitifully few resources and not even having the bloodline or talent of the Yun family, yet Brother Yun is right now, half a step into the tyrant profound realm when he is not even 22 yet. He will soon break into the realm of overlords. If he could have the same kind of resources, I believe his achievements today would be no less than that of sixth brother. Number 6 under heaven. Moreover, Brother Yun has a soft heart and he is ever so gentle, to the point where, even though he is the young master of the Yun family, he has never leaned on his position and become arrogant, and he has never bullied others as well. Instead, when he sees injustice, he will take the initiative to lend a helping hand. I know, all of his good points are not even worth a single glance to any of you, but there is this one point: when I had met danger, Brother Yun willingly used his own life to protect mine. All of Brother Yun's wounds were suffered in the course of protecting me. He could have escaped completely unscathed, but he would rather give his life in order to create an opportunity for me to escape. But despite all of this, he was still scolded and belittled by the rest of you. Number 7 under heaven's chest fiercely rose and fell. Dad, all of these young and handsome heroes that you just mentioned, could a single one of them have done the same thing? For a girl to meet such a man in her lifetime, and to have this feeling of love be mutual, is the most fortunate thing in one's life. Could you bear to destroy the greatest happiness I will ever receive during my entire lifetime? Facing greatest ambition under heaven's resoluteness, number 7 under heaven could not control herself anymore as she shouted out all the words trapped in her heart without any reservation. But these heartfelt words did not move greatest ambition under heaven at all. He eyed Yun Xiao dully, and gently shook his head. My 7th treasure, what you have said, I definitely understand. Your father was also young once, and I understand what you are thinking. It is only that you are still the sole princess of our under heaven clan, and you possess innate qualifications that others can never cultivate, and it is because of that, that some things can never be fully under your control. Please, just come back with me first. I'm not going back. Number 7 under heaven retreated several steps. If you will never let me meet with Brother Yun again, I would rather never go back home. You, greatest ambition under heaven, struggled to keep his temper under control as it flared explosively once more. Cough. About that, seventh sister, would you be willing to listen to a few of my words? Yunche hurriedly interjected before greatest ambition under heaven flew off the handle. He pulled number 7 under heaven over and said in a small voice, "Seventh sister, return with your father first and stop quarreling with him over this. As for Yun Xiao, I will return with him to Yun family, and I will not leave his side until all his wounds recover, so you do not need to worry." But, number 7 under heaven looked at Yun Xiao, then said in an indignant and angry tone, "The things they said about Brother Yun, and even barring me from seeing him ever again, But what will your quarreling do in regards to that?" Yun Che shook his head. "You have just met intense danger, and your father and brothers are still full of anger and resentment towards Yun Xiao. Moreover, I can also see that they are truly deeply concerned for you. For you to quarrel so fiercely with them over Yun Xiao, to the point where you are even threatening that you won't return home. This has undoubtedly caused them even more anger and grief, and at the same time, it will increase their distaste and dislike for Yun Xiao. It will purely have the reverse effect, and it will only cause the relationship between you and Yun Xiao to become even more uncertain." Ah? Number 7 under heaven received a shock. Then what should I do now? Go back with them first, wait for this affair to blow over and take things slowly. Even though your father has decreed that you are not to meet again, both of you live in the Demon Imperial City, and both of you are alive and kicking. If you really want to meet, can they really stop you? Quarreling with your father is completely useless. You should instead approach this using gentle persuasion, or perhaps act more coquettishly. Use various means and ways to demonstrate to him just how good Yun Xiao is to you. Once time has passed, he might even unwittingly approve. Number 7 under heaven's eyes lit up slowly. After that she vigorously nodded her head. "Amen, big brother Yun, I'll listen to you. Brother Yun, please recuperate properly. I will definitely bring my father around. Seventh sister. Yun Xiao, let's get going." Yun Che said his farewells to greatest ambition under heaven and his family. Without stopping, he picked up Yun Xiao and flew back towards the Demon Imperial City. Number 3, bring 7th treasure back first. She suffered some internal injuries and it would be best to let her rest and recover for a few days. After number 3 under heaven left with number 7 under heaven, greatest ambition under heaven's face gradually grew serious. Number 1, those 3 black-clothed men, were you able to find out anything about their identities? Number 1 under heaven shook his head. By the time I had went, one of them had died while the other 2 had fled. I did not even catch a glimpse of their shadows. If one died, then where is his corpse? Greatest ambition under heaven asked. His corpse was taken by the other 2 men when they fled. And Yun Che, who had repelled them, did not make a move to stop them. Perhaps he could not even be bothered to make a move. Greatest ambition under heaven gave a deep sigh, and said slowly, "Number 1, go and give that location a thorough look, try and find any trace of evidence they have left behind. Also, even if the corpse was taken away, as long as someone died, there has to be blood present. Go and bring some blood samples back, I might have a way to investigate. HMPH. I really want to know who has such great nerve, that they would dare try to assassinate a member of our Under Heaven clan." Understood. Number 1 under heaven nodded his head. He flew out swiftly, but suddenly stopped and turned to number 6 under heaven, and said, "Old 6, after you go back, the first thing I want you to do is to conduct a thorough check on the background of Yun Che, the more detailed the better. This person's origins are definitely not ordinary. And remember, he is not an enemy, so when you perform your check, do not agitate him." I got it. Number 6 under heaven nodded his head. Yun Che carried Yun Xiao as they flew towards the Demon Imperial City at a steady clip. Both of them looked at the ever-nearing city gates, their hearts filled with exceptionally complicated thoughts. "Brother Yun, are you really only 22 years old?" Yun Xiao asked hurriedly as he looked at him. "I never lie." Yun Che replied, "Why do you ask?" Yun Xiao took a breath and said in voice filled with admiration, "We are both 22, but you are so mighty, and even your words are able to grasp the main point in no time at all. It fills people with an involuntary belief. If only I could be like you, then seventh sister's father and older brothers wouldn't hate me so much." Yun Che shook his head. "I am not as sharp as you make me out to be. But the ones who were ambushed were the both of you, the ones who were interfered with was also the both of you. I am purely an outsider, so I can always keep my cool. The one in the situation is blind, while the onlookers can see things clearly. It should mean something like that." "Ha ha." Yun Xiao laughed. "Brother Yun is not only great in many areas, but you are also modest. It makes it hard for one to not admire you. However, I find it strange. I have always on guard towards others, but for some odd reason, when I look at Brother Yun, I feel an unfathomable familiarity with you, and what I am saying is from my heart. Perhaps it is because Brother Yun's charisma is just too intense." Yun Che looked at him and laughed lightly. He said with sincerity, "Actually, I feel the same." "Ah?" Yun Xiao was stunned, then said blankly, "Then can we be considered good friends now?" "We should be, as long as you don't mind." "I won't mind. I definitely won't mind at all." Yun Xiao waved his hands hurriedly. "Brother Yun is such a great person. If it is someone who should mind, it is you who should mind being friends with me, not the other way around." As the two people spoke, they had already entered the space above Demon Imperial City. "My clan is situated in the east of the city." Yun Xiao pointed towards the east, the place where the purple energy is rising to the heavens. It was said that 100 years ago, the purple energy of the Yun family covered half of Demon Imperial City's sky, but now, sigh. Yun Che lifted his head. Somewhere in the northeastern part of the city, there was indeed a purple radiance rushing into the skies. Only that this purple radiance was a little weak. If one did not pay attention to it, one would simply not notice it. "What is that purple radiance?" Yun Che asked. Yun Xiao's expression darkened slightly, and said, "That is the radiance of our Yun family's ancestral monument. Our Yun family cultivates lightning attribute profound arts. The profound energy appears as a purple color when released. The stronger the profound strength, the deeper the purple. Also, Brother Yun, have you heard of the profound handle?" Yun Che nodded. "Yes, is it the bloodline skill that solely belongs to the Yun family?" While speaking about the profound handle, sadness evidently flashed across Yun Xiao's face. He continued, "The limit of the profound handle just happens to be purple-colored, and because of that, purple has always been the most sacred of color to the Yun family. In the Yun family, all disciples will release their maximum profound strengths towards the ancestral monument on their birthday, thereby maintaining the eternal purple radiance being released by the ancestral monument. According to Father, hundreds of years ago, during Yun family's flourishing period, the radiance of the ancestral monument would shine upon half of the skies of the Demon Imperial City, yet now, it's just like what you are seeing, weak to the extent that it is hard to even detect. Accordingly, the weakness of the purple radiance of the ancestral monument directly reflects the great fall in the Yun family's combined strength. The Demon King being dead or alive would affect the Yun family to such a large degree." Yun Che said in astonishment. "If it is simply whether my grandfather is alive or not, it would definitely not be the case. This matter implicates many other issues." Yun Xiao's expression dimmed. Yun Che became silent for some time, slowed down his flight and said, "Yun Xiao, could you describe to me in detail the reason behind the Yun family's decline? I am after all, a Yun, and am very curious. Of course, if it is not convenient, then it's all right." Yun Xiao shook his head. "This is not an issue of convenience, because in the illusory demon realm, it is not a secret at all. You can easily inquire about it. If Brother Yun wants to know about it, I have no reason to conceal the truth." Yun Xiao raised his head slightly, his expression revealing his sadness. Hundreds of years ago, the Yun family was indeed prominent for a time. Due to the ability to employ profound handles, the position of being head of the 12 guardian families was never threatened. It could be said that in the entire illusory demon realm, apart from the illusory demon royal family, which is the demon emperor's clan that the 12 guardian families protects, the Yun family was the strongest. The Yun family was loyal and devoted to the demon royal family, the illusory demon royal family had always relied heavily on the Yun family. Even the illusory demon royal family's most precious treasure, the mirror of samsara, was handed over to the Yun family to guard. In grandfather's generation, the relationship between grandfather and the Lord Demon Emperor was not only that of a ruler and subject, they were raised together, experienced much together, and were the closest of friends. They were, without exaggeration, friends who would die for each other. We are people of the Yun family. However, grandfather was named and bestowed the title Demon King by the Demon Emperor. It was evident that the hidden meaning behind was the ability to sit on the same level as the Demon Emperor. It was the greatest honor of our Yun family, a distinction which the other 11 guardian families could not even begin to admire. However, about 200 years ago, a force from another continent appeared. They were from a place called the Profound Sky Continent. They used some sort of method to build a transportation formation which could shuttle between millions of kilometers over the sea, and reach the illusory demon realm. Their arrival was not simply to visit, it was to invade us. They also somehow knew that our illusory demon realm's illusory demon royal family possessed a heavenly profound treasure which had an ability that opposed the heavens, thus, wanting to steal it. All of them were incredibly strong, and every time they came, they would bring extremely strong escaping devices while invading the demon imperial city, leaving us with no other options. Within 100 years, they had invaded more than 20 times. 100 years ago, the Lord Demon Emperor could no longer take it. After another invasion, he personally pursued them to the area where they employed their escaping formation. He rashly rushed into one of the escaping formations which they could not disengage in time, following the other party into the Profound Sky Continent. Not long after, news of the death of Lord Demon Emperor arrived. There was no news after that. Yunche. Every one of these invaders were dreadfully strong. Even though Lord Demon Emperor was really strong, in the opponent's territory, there was only the possibility of death. Even the Demon Emperor's clan accepted the matter. However, my grandfather still could not believe that the Demon Emperor had died. Afterwards, grandfather used Yun family's secret device to forcibly slice a spatial passage to the Profound Sky Continent. Then, ignoring all advice, he brought the family's 10 strongest grand elders and headed towards the Profound Sky Continent to search for the Demon Emperor. The 10 strongest grand elders? Yunche was slightly shocked. Yun Xiao nodded. Along with grandfather, they were the Yun family's 11 strongest seniors at that time. However, after that, none of them returned. Until a few months ago, news came from the Profound Sky Continent, saying that grandfather had been captured alive and imprisoned. The captors wanted our Yun family to exchange the Demon Emperor's treasure which the Yun family has been guarding for generations to exchange for grandfather's life. Only, the majority believed that grandfather had already died, that those from the Profound Sky Continent saying that grandfather was captured was simply to trick the Yun family into taking the bait. Yunche. The Yun family had lost its 11 strongest core experts, dropping from the top of the 12 guardian families to being the weakest. The most critical part was that when grandfather headed for the Profound Sky Continent, he had brought along the illusory demon royal family's Demon Emperor seal. To the illusory demon royal family, the Demon Emperor seal was even more important than the mirror of samsara. It concerned the Demon Emperor's succession ceremony. After that, they all said that not only did grandfather rashly give his own life away, he had also caused illusory demon royal family's most important item to be lost, and this ultimate crime couldn't help but be the burden of the entire Yun family. The Yun family was punished. Not only were the resources they received every year decreased by 5-fold, they also could not enter Golden Crow Lightning Flame Valley within 100 years. The cutting down of resources, and even not being able to enter the area of optimum cultivation and vast fortunes would not affect the older generation much. However, the effect on the younger generation was incomparably huge. This also caused the strength of Yun family's newer generation of disciples to lose out greatly to the other guardian families. Even the strength of the profound handle could not make up for the loss. Not long after the incident concerning the Demon Emperor and grandfather, the illusory demon royal family had no choice but to appoint a new Demon Emperor. Thus, Lord Demon Emperor's only son succeeded the throne. However, due to the Demon Emperor's seal being missing, the succession ceremony could not proceed. Thus, there was no Golden Crow divine imprint, thereby making him unable to truly become the real Demon Emperor, only being able to be called the Little Demon Emperor. On the second day after succeeding the throne, the little demon emperor married the little demon empress. However, nobody had thought that on the night of the marriage, the little demon emperor did not return to the bridal chamber. He had instead left a note, saying that since his father was still unavenged, he was not fit to complete the marriage, and even said that if he did not return within 3 years, the little demon empress was to be the illusory demon emperor. However, not even 10 days after, news came from the profound sky continent that the little demon emperor had died. Yunche. Within the profound sky continent, the 4 sacred grounds were incomparably divine existences. It was rumored that they guarded the entire profound sky continent, isolating dangers which came from other continents, especially against the covetous and ambitious illusory demon realm. In the rumors from the profound sky continent, the illusory demon realm was dreadful and ferocious, always wanting to conquer the profound sky continent. The people of the illusory demon realm were all labeled as evil demons. Yet whatever Yunche was hearing actually completely contradicted the rumors within the profound sky continent. The evil one was not the illusory demon realm which was constantly being framed, but the sacred grounds who were treated as holy guardians. After that? Yunche asked disappointedly. Yun Xiao continued, after that, the little demon empress succeeded the throne, becoming the new illusory demon emperor. Thereafter, our Yun family experienced another tremendous blow, because of news that from the profound sky continent saying that my grandfather was not yet dead, but was imprisoned. 25 years ago, father could not take it anymore and activated the secret device again with mother. They quietly headed towards the profound sky continent to search for grandfather. At that time, I was not born yet. 3 years later, my parents finally came back. Although they were alive, they were severely injured, and due to them fleeing for a long period of time, they did not have the luxury of tending to their wounds, causing the profound veins in their entire bodies to deteriorate. Their profound strengths were basically crippled. As for me, I was unfortunately conceived in the profound sky continent, dragging down my parents as they were attempting to flee. Then, they safely brought me back to the illusory demon realm. Speaking till there, Yun Xiao dipped his head, not allowing Yunche to see the expression in his eyes. Then, he lowered his voice and continued, the number of strong practitioners in the Yun family was originally zilch. After mother's and father's bodies were crippled, it was another huge blow to the Yun family's potential. And the most severe issue was, when mother and father were heading towards the profound sky continent, they had brought along the illusory demon royal family's guarded treasure, the Mirror of Samsara. Although they had returned to the illusory demon realm, they had lost the Mirror of Samsara. The Yun family, which had committed the crime of losing the demon emperor's seal, had yet again committed another grave crime, and from that, we suffered an even more severe punishment. The resources received every year lessened again, and we could never enter the Golden Crow Lightning Flame Valley ever again. The illusory demon royal clan was in such a huge rage that they even wanted to kick our Yun family out of the 12 guardian families. Since it is such an important object, before they headed to the profound sky continent, they would have been aware of the dangers ahead. Why did they bring it with them? Yunche asked in puzzlement. This too was what he had always been baffled over. Yun Xiao became taciturn, hesitating for quite some time before saying in a soft voice, Mother had once secretly told me that it was actually the little demon empress idea. The little demon empress idea? The item known as the Mirror of Samsara had been passed on within the illusory demon royal clan for many years. Even though it is called a heaven-defying treasure, none of the demon emperors had ever found any uses, and no one ever knew what uses it had. Back then, the little demon empress told father, if such a useless treasure could be exchanged for the demon king's life, it would be extremely beneficial for the illusory demon realm. After father returned, unable to bring grandfather back, on top of losing the Mirror of Samsara, he did not mention that bringing along the Mirror of Samsara was the little demon empress idea, and shouldered all the blame. It was because after the little demon empress succeeded the throne, many naysayers existed within the illusory demon royal clan. Father did not want the little demon empress to experience an even greater amount of stress. After that, Yun family's potential dropped by another 10,000 feet. My father's reputation was even. Yun Xiao heaved a long sigh. As he thought about his father, his heart ached. Yunche slowly digested Yun Xiao's words. Some of what he had mentioned matched what Yunche had heard from Yun Sanghai. This proved that Yun Xiao was recounting the details seriously, and was not lying. The two of them were silent for some time, until Yun Che suddenly said in a soft voice, "Yun Xiao, your father is currently still the head of the Yun family, his profound strength has been crippled, and he has even shouldered all of the crimes, yet your family hasn't forced him to give up the seat. It's because of my maternal grandfather." Yun Xiao said absently, "Grandfather is the head of the Mu family. I still have an uncle, who is the Mu family's young master. They have prestigious statuses in the Demon Imperial City. No matter if it's grandfather or uncle, the both of them treat mother especially well. Grandfather supporting father is one of the reasons. With the fact that our Yun family's potential and statuses have been decreasing, if we still wish to remain part of the 12 guardian families, we cannot lose Mu family's support. Only, although father still holds the position of the family head, the number of people who listen to him has been decreasing. Sometimes, father's authority doesn't seem to be higher than a slightly high-ranking elder. The grand elders have never accepted father. The only reason they would allow father to remain as the family head is only because of Mu family's might, and the fact that they do not want to lose their support. Episode 86 is end here. Next episode coming tomorrow. Thanks for watching.